G'day and welcome back aboard for another episode of the Global Flight Series. Today we're on board a Cessna Citation CJ4 and we're coming into the Gold Coast and demonstrate the automatic landing capabilities of the aircraft using the ILS and get a bit of a view what it looks like from the flight deck when you're coming into Gold Coast. Just go back and we'll commence our descent now into Coolangatta. And let the autopilot do this. Take it down to 3,000. Manage the speed manually and drop it down at 2,000, maybe 500 feet a minute. Just wind the engines right back here. You can see this little number here, that's our descent rate. And this white line here tells us where we're going to be at our current descent rate to give us at that altitude there. So when we hit that white line, we should be at 3,000 feet there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for 2,500, which is the intercept height for the ILS. And we'll see where that puts us. You can see there we're doing 2,400. That's our actual speed. Just holding just around 250 knots. I'll adjust and there's what it looks like. We'll jump outside and we'll have a look at the scenery. Quite often find in flight sim, spend more time outside of the aircraft rather than inside, just because the scenery is just so stunning. As we're coming in now into the Gold Coast, just passing over the top of the Sunshine Coast University Hospital. If I do a top-down look, you'll see that there just on front of the nose. It's that University Hospital precinct, Smith Street. You can see cars, absolutely stunning graphics. Surface Paradise off to our left-hand side. So as we come in towards that intercept height, the aircraft is going to start to level out and reduce that descent rate. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to press the approach. That arms the localizer to intercept the ILS. So that's been turned on now. And once we intercept that, this glide slope will become active and that'll start taking us down automatically. I'm just going to leave the engines throttled back so we can keep dropping our airspeed. So we're coming in approximately 150 knots. We'll jump back outside, we'll have a look. There's a lot of uproar about the ILS at the Gold Coast Airport. They haven't had one, and they got one put in the past 2 years, much to the displeasure of the local residents. They said it would add extra noise over their area, but one of the conditions of putting it in was that it was only to be used in bad weather. And that is the case, and or if they operationally require it. So you might get foreign airlines flying in here who need it for that purpose. But generally speaking, the local airlines will still maintain using the RNAV approaches, which cuts out a lot of leg time as well on finals. Speed's just hovering there around 180 knots. Might just put out 15 degrees of flaps. And you'll see now we're starting to descend at 900 feet a minute. We've intercepted the glide slope and it's now taking us down automatically on that approach. Straight ahead there's the runway, 2 red, 2 white. Rendering has somewhat something to be desired, just given the distance away. That's alright. We'll stay on board here while we continue our final approach. A little bit choppy today, as you can see. A little bit of turbulence around. It's getting buffeted around a bit. I'm going to drop out another thing of flaps.
Landing gear.
And put the landing gear out as well. We're at 1,200 feet. Just going to keep the thrust where it is at the moment. And I might just interject that in a little bit once we get down to about 120 knots, just to maintain the speed at around that. Coming in here at Currumbin Creek. This is a pretty accurate representation of what it would look like from the flight deck on approach to Coolangatta or Gold Coast Airport runway 14. 100 knots, just going to put a little bit of speed into that, soaking up the scenery. And 750 knots, just adjust the barometer, make sure we've got the right QNH set for landing. Continue to approach nice and steady, 100 knots. This is good speed, good approach speed. Just off to the left, some of the best calamari in Queensland. Can't remember the name of the fish and chip shop, but just as you get off the Tugun exit of the highway, absolutely stunning seafood there. What a spot, take it down to the beach and soak that up. Anyway, we continue. 300 feet. Nearly at decision height for minimums. And 270 feet. And at this point, you'd call out minimums, and if you would continue or not. If you couldn't see the runway, you'd do a missed approach and go around. Anyway, we continue.
Autopilot.
Disengage the autopilot. I'll take it from hand here. Dump the... and we're just a bit too high, as you're seeing with 4 whites there. And I'll just land a little long. That's alright. And just bring it in slowly. There we go, touchdown, nose down. And we'll just hit some of the brakes, just to slow us down. 40 knots. Anyway, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed that.